it was a jam-packed auditorium. Everybody stood up, clapped, 1,000 voices clubbed into one voice and said, "Welcome back, Sudha."
Because not a lot of women speak up today.
You have to be strong enough to know that you are standing up for yourself. If you don't have the confidence within you, that confidence definitely doesn't come out.
I'd love to hear your thoughts about Indian Women Awards Season 3.
I've been an inspiring force for a lot of people, but these are certain events where you get inspired. Nagin 1, Nagin 2, then Nagin 3, then Nagin 6, because that was the hook line where I said Patali De Tali. And people loved it. So wherever I go now, people say Patali De Tali.
I would love to say that we love to hate you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Women of Wonder by Reema Mahajan, or Wow Woman as we lovingly call it. This is our initiative to bring to you stories of empowered and ambitious women so that we can all take inspiration from them. My guest today is very, very special. She's not only a Bollywood celebrity, she's an inspiration for many of us. She's super talented and I'm pretty sure you've all seen her on TV. Welcome to the show, Sudha ji.
Thank you so much, Reema. It's my honor and pleasure to be here. It's a beautiful concept that you've come up with. And I'm privileged to be one of those who's going to be sitting and talking with you today.
It's absolutely our honor to host you here today.
Thank you.
We'd love to learn from your journey because you're an inspiration to so many women out there. We want to start from bachpan. Did you always want to be an actor or a dancer from the very beginning? Was that how you've grown up?
Not really, Reema. In fact, I started dancing when I was 3. And at the age of 3, I don't think any child can actually decide whether you want to become a dancer or a doctor or an engineer. These were the plans that was made for me by my mom because she wanted to be a dancer, but unfortunately she couldn't become a dancer. And she had always dreamed that if she gets a daughter and she would make her a dancer for sure. And that's how I became a dancer at the age of 3. And they say, what you manifest, you get. My dad had come in from Kerala, was working as a stenographer, to earn that extra income for his family. And he was working as a stenographer in one of the most popular dancers in Mumbai. Her name was Sudha Swami. And he had decided that if he gets married and he has a daughter, he will name her Sudha and make her a dancer. So I think when two people manifest in the same direction, universe makes sure that they meet. And they met, they got married, and as desired by both of them, they got a daughter, and I was named Sudha, and I became a dancer. So that's how the journey as a dancer started in my life. Then, of course, today I would say that I cannot think of a life not being a dancer.
Yeah, we cannot imagine Sudha Chandran not being a dancer.
Actually.
So, ma'am, you had an accident at 16, right?
Yes.
Tell us, did that break you at that time? What were your thoughts about this?
Well, it was a tender age of 15 and a half, 16 is you're at the threshold of, getting into being a teenager. And you have so many dreams. And you're just, I was at the edge ready to fly. I was like that bird which had actually got those new wings and wanted to fly high with so many dreams because my father wanted me to become an IFS, he wanted me to do the IFS. My mother wanted me to, study and come abroad and settle down. And she had a lot of dreams. And these were things that I grew up listening to. So probably these were my ambitions also. But when this incident happened, when this accident took place, suddenly I felt that, I was like a bird whose wings had been clipped, totally grounded. I didn't know whether I would even get a pair of wings to fly. Fly to dur ki baat thi, whether I would be able to even take a step forward in my life. But then they say, when God has decided something for you, things really begin to happen. And it was at the same time that Dr. P.K. Sethi got the Raman Magsaysay Award for the Jaipur Fort. They say it was God sent because I was lying on the hospital bed and the doctor walks in and says that, see what God has sent for you. And I said, what? Now what does he have for me? Because I was so disgusted and, disillusioned in life. So I said, now what more does he have for me? So he says, see, God has answered your prayers. There's some Jaipur foot which has come up and it's creating magic in the, especially challenged people's lives. So I said, oh, okay. And, I just read about it and kept it aside. But when I came to Mumbai after the accident, this happened somewhere in the south. So when I came down to Mumbai, I had some problem with the artificial limb that I had got from Chennai. So I saw this Jaipur foot there. I saw a model of the Jaipur foot. So I said, oh my God, this looks so natural. It looks like a normal foot. And that's when I recollected, this doctor talking to me about this. And I instantly wrote to Dr. P.K. Sethi that, I would love to meet you, but I never mentioned I'm a dancer. So, and people said, he's too busy. You don't think he would be traveling abroad and you'll never get an appointment. But within a week, he said, please come down to Jaipur. So, I always feel what you want happens, but then there's also a power which is, enabling you and, clearing the path for you. So I met Dr. Sethi, and my mother first didn't want me to ask whether I could dance. But the moment I met Dr. Sethi, the first question I asked is, Doc, can I dance? And without a moment's hesitation, he said, yeah, why not? And I said, is that so simple? So I said, yes, of course. And he gave me a Jaipur foot, and they tried out with some springs and stuff like that. But, the springs would get stuck and I was not able to dance. So that put me down for some time. I said, oh my God. I said, it's not as simple as it looks. But then I went back. We had 2-3, sittings with him. And then he says, I don't want you to be dancing with something special. I don't want people to say that, a special limb was made for Sudha, that's why she was able to dance. So I said, then what about all this? He said, I was just trying to give you the confidence to take that step ahead, yes. And he says, now you will dance with the limb that every specially challenged person is, wearing.
Right.
So nothing special has been made for me, and I continue to dance with the limb that every other amputee in Jaipur wears. I mean, whoever goes to Jaipur.
Right.
So when people say, something special has been made for her, absolutely no.
But I think your story reminds me of this quote from Paulo Coelho, right? So the alchemist.
Yes.
And it says that when you want something, they'll say the universe conspires to give it to you. And your journey tells us that, right? That whenever you face a challenge, you found a solution out of it and come out of it stronger.
I always keep telling people this. I said, never doubt your own instincts. It's very important. When you start doubting yourself is when you're doubting the universe. You're doubting the faith. I always say, never question faith. See, you know what you want, you manifest, and make sure that God or the universe will give it to you. I mean, and I stand as a strong example for this. I mean, I had the best of people in my life, and I say all this happens is only when God places these people in your life.
Absolutely.
Because He tests you whether you want the desired result or not. If you're shaky, well, nothing is going to happen. When you're determined, things will happen.
So, ma'am, after the accident, when you went to the stage first time, you had a standing ovation.
Yeah. See, normally you get an ovation is after you perform. So after they see you perform. But here, the moment I stepped on stage, all I could see was, it was a jam-packed auditorium. Everybody stood up, clapped, and one voice, the 1,000 voices, clubbed into one voice and said, welcome back, Sudha. I think that is where I'd won the battle. See, I knew that, that's what I say. More than what I do for myself, it's the people who welcome me. They support me. They encourage me. So my responsibility doubles. And that was a time when I said, Sudha, you can't let them down. You have to do it. There are a lot of people who have, pinned a lot of hopes on you. Like I turned around, I saw my guru, I saw my mother in the wings, I couldn't see my father. And the biggest reward that came to me after the event was, my father walked up to me and he touched my feet. And I was taken aback. I said, Dad, what are you doing? Yeah. He says, I'm not, bending down to touch the feet of my daughter. I'm touching the feet of Lord Saraswati that resides in my daughter's feet.
What a brilliant
So I think with innumerable awards that I have received, nothing can beat that award.
That's the best award ever.
Yes.
How did Bollywood and the industry come into your life? You've done so many serials over time.
Well, I started with films though, because once I came back to stage and I started dancing, and then, it caught the attention of a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Because I'm talking about, something that happened 35 to 38 years back. Yes. So it was a sensation. People said, how can that happen? Yeah. I mean, they were the purists who wanted to actually see me perform because I should do traditional Bharatanatyam.
Yes.
So people said, no, she cannot do that for 2.5 to 3 hours at a stretch. Well, I did. Mm. So there also I say I attribute it to my guru, Ramaswamy Bhagavatar, who had absolute faith, I would say 50% in me and 100% on Lord Nataraja. So he always believed that his best student would never be let down. by the god of dance, Lord Nataraja. So yes, that's when, people started writing about me. There were a lot of press articles about me. And Mr. Ramoji Rao, Hyderabad, he's a newspaper baron. And he's got this famous Ramoji Film City where people do go. It's a huge film city that he's built in Hyderabad. Then he was just starting as a producer. And he always believed that he wanted to do films which were very different. And this story, when he read about me, he said he wanted to make a film on my life story. And me and my father went and met him. Initially, they had no idea of casting me in the film. They wanted to cast some superstar from South. But when I was narrating the story is when the director found it, he kept looking at me and he didn't say anything, though he did listen to my story with rapt attention. But the moment I came to Mumbai, the call comes immediately and says that we have decided that we want to cast you in the lead role. And I was like, me, lead role films? I said, that's not what I want, because what I have planned is something different in my life. I think that was a time when my grandmother, I would say that she belonged to a very different era, but she was so progressive. If people have seen Nache Mayuri, you would see that it was a grandmother who supported the character very, very strongly. She was the person who said that never be superstitious. Aisa kuch nahi hota hai. You have the will, there is a way. And I'm talking about a woman. I'm talking about woman emancipation, the woman who was very liberated at that time. So at that time, a woman tells me that, Sudha, you want to do something? We as a family stand by you. So that was a very big decision. So my mother initially had this, that why films, and I mean, she shouldn't be going into this. But my grandmother put her foot down and she said, no, this is also God sent. Maybe he wants to convey a message through her. And the film happened. So I said, chalo, 15, 20 days, no issues. Jao shooting karte, dekhte wo duniya bhi kya hai. So I remember going from Mumbai to Hyderabad and shooting. The first day I was a little depressed because I wanted to get back to Mumbai. I mean, I was really missing my friends. Then the director, Sangeetam Srinivasa Rao, who did Apu Raja, and he's one of the best directors of South. He said, try it out. We give you 2 days. You don't want to do it, you can get back. But the moment I got into the making of the film, I was so much into it, and the last day I was crying. So he says, now why are you crying? You're going back home. So I said, now I don't want to leave you guys. So he says, you will be in this industry for a very long time. And he said, he blessed me. And that day and today, I'm still in the industry, and I love this industry, and I love the people, because whatever I am today, I owe it to my audience.
Absolutely. So you had a very supportive family, but one thing I noticed last night from our event was you have a very supportive husband.
Yes, of course.
And, we always say women support each other.
Yeah, women do support each other, though in our television we don't. A woman is always the other woman's villain, who always wants to break families. It's always a woman who wants to finish the other family, the other woman's family. Yes. But nevertheless, yes, like I say, behind every man, there is a woman. But I would say that behind a lot of successful women, there are men. See, it could be the husband, it could be the father, the son, the brother. So I was very fortunate. Like I always say, you win half the battle if the family stands by you. Because I remember when I took my first step ahead, I knew for sure that even if I had a fall, I would fall back on my family. And they were my rocks of Gibraltar. So I knew that they would never let me fall down. Before I fell, I knew that they were those arms that would hold me tight and say that it's okay, you still have a better chance. So I say that is very important, like today's generation, especially I want to tell this to the generation of today. Don't think that you know it all. You have a family which has seen more summers than you. They have the life experience. So whenever you feel that you are at crossroads, sit with your family and discuss. Today, the biggest issue is that we don't discuss. We don't open up. And I think this is very important. That's what is leading to a lot of wrong decisions in life. So I always felt that even today, till I lost my father 2 years back, I still remember there were certain things that I still sat and talked to my father. I still sit and talk to my husband. Like you said, my husband has been my pillar of strength. He's a very silent factor. But I remember when I came to this industry, it was a very new industry and I was not aware of it. And I come from a typical South Indian Tamil Brahmin family, where education is the only thing that I know, because my mother always said, a middle class family can only give education to a child. It's like a blank check. which you can encash at any point of time. So when I came into this industry and I felt that things were not what I anticipated, or the people were not behaving the way I thought people would behave with me. So after my marriage, I used to come back very upset. Though set pe मैं कभी किसी के सामने ये नहीं दिखाती हूँ. I'm upset or I'm emotionally hurt. No, I'm a very strong person. The only place where I crack is when I come back home. And when I used to come back home, I used to tell my husband, आज ऐसा हुआ वैसा हुआ. So my husband used to say, मुँह में क्या ताला लगा के बैठी हो? एक बार दो टुक जवाब दे दो, दोबारा कोई हिम्मत नहीं करेगा. If you feel you are right, stand up for it. And that's what I did. अब तो my husband says, आजकल तो कोई problems घर पे आ ही नहीं रहे. I said, वो इसलिए क्योंकि मैं वही solve कर देती हूँ.
Brilliant. I think that's a great golden piece of advice,
Yes,
right? That
yes.
women need to stand up. And I think that's an inspiration for women because not a lot of women speak up today. It takes
Yes.
a lot of guts for you to
Yes.
stand up for yourself, especially in a room full of men and say, I am right. What I'm saying makes sense. Listen to me.
That's what I'm saying. See, you have to be strong enough to know that you are standing up for yourself. If you don't have the confidence within you, that confidence definitely doesn't come out. Like in a group, like you said, in a room of men, if I stand and say that, somewhere within you, I think your eyes are a reflection of what you think. So even deep within your mind, if you think, oh, I think I'm a little nervous, I don't know whether I'll be able to convey this thought, just stand up and say that I'm the best. Good, bad, ugly, well, I take the responsibility. Like I always say today, it's not that I'm right all the time, but I don't even want to accept the fact that I'm wrong. So अगर मुझसे कोई गलती होती है, ठीक है यार, माफी कर दो, कल नहीं होगी, that's it. Now why repent, regret, discuss? No, I don't want that. So that's how I move in life, and that's what I want to convey to people, that if you think you're right, don't bother. But even if you think you're wrong, just apologize and say it's okay, यार. It's हो जाता है, इंसान है.
इंसान
गलतियाँ
सबसे
तो वही
गलती
है.
होती है.
Exactly.
सबसे गलती
So
होती
there's
है.
nothing to brood and say, oh my God, I made a blunder or I made a mistake. I don't think so.
Agreed. While we are on the topic of women, I wanted to talk about our event last evening.
Yes.
Thank you so much, firstly, for accepting our invite.
It's my pleasure and honor.
We brought to you an evening which was by the women and for the women, and we wanted to bring a show with a difference. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Indian Women Awards Season 3.
Well, the Indian Women's Awards Season 3 was actually an eye-opener for me. Like, I have attended a lot of events, a lot of honoring a lot of women in India and abroad. But what I saw yesterday was people from different fields. There were genres that I had not even thought of. I thought that, yes, there are certain, areas where we have always worked and, actually succeeded as women. But yesterday, the categories that you had, and women being so successful there. And I felt so happy is because, we always thought that औरतें जो है वो तो kitchen की है.
Yeah.
घर की दहलीज लांग नहीं सकते. But I was so happy to see that women actually came out. And I loved the ramp walk that they did. They looked like total pros. And I was told yesterday that they were walking the ramp for the first time.
All of them were walking the ramp for the first time. And we had women from 25 years of age to 60 plus years of age walking the ramp.
Yes, and I also love the new concept of women battling cancer and the cancer survivors. See, many a time you feel that, oh, I'm stuck with cancer. It's the deadly disease and I'm not going to survive. But yesterday, these women conveyed a very strong message that cancer cannot push you down. This is a disease that you need to conquer. And you conquer and you celebrate life. So that was a very strong message that came across.
And they're walking, talking examples of women who can come back positively.
Exactly.
Because they've seen the downs in their life. Some of them were battling cancer during COVID, the hardest time when you didn't have any family or friends close to you. And they went through treatments till then, so I know their personal stories. But they came back to the ramp yesterday, looked gorgeous in bridal lehengas.
They looked so beautiful and they were so beautifully dressed.
And they rocked the ramp.
Yes. That's why I say I've been an inspiring force for a lot of people. But these are certain events where you get inspired.
Yes.
And this remains with you for a very long time.
Thank you so much.
And I think, Reema, you have done a great job. I always say if the captain of the ship is strong, then the downline is brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. You just made my day.
No, well, that's the truth too.
Lovely. So, ma'am, we move on to our next round, and this is what we call direct dil se. These
Okay.
are quick, rapid-fire
Okay,
questions,
okay.
and we'd love to know the other side of, or the things we don't know about
Okay.
Sudha Chandran ji yet. How do you cope with stress or pressure being an artist in the entertainment industry?
I go into my bed, take the blanket, and go to sleep.
What keeps you motivated?
My failures.
What is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you on a set?
When I fumble. Because I normally don't fumble. When I come to the sets, people say that, oh, Sudha has got a brilliant memory. Kabhi kabar, when you fumble, I said, ye nahi hona chahiye tha. And then suddenly all the eyes are looking at you. Sudha ji, you? Not you. So that's a little embarrassing for me.
How many hours of prep you put together before a shoot when you have a big dialogue to say?
No
and,
prep. No prep.
No prep?
No prep.
How do you prep for your day?
I don't. For me, it's a normal day. I mean,
Yeah.
I get up in the morning, I get up, I do my exercise, I do a little bit of walking, I pray, gather that strength and say, so that today's a new day, go, battle it out.
Brilliant. What's the most creative or innovative idea you've ever implemented or proposed in your career?
Well, it's yet to come. Because I still feel that, yes, but yes, the transformation is very important because when Mayuri was released, it was a next door girl image. But coming to the most stylish icon on television, I think that was a big transformation for me. Yeah.
You've played a lot of negative roles
Yes.
also through your life.
Yes.
What feedback have you got?
People love me. People love me. People love to hate me. I think that's the beauty of the characters.
Which is your favorite negative character?
All my negative characters. I had all my negative and positive characters because, see, you are an artist. It's very difficult to say that you like this or you don't like that. Because for me, I always feel the next negative role is a bigger challenge. Why? Because people's expectations grow. The moment they see you on screen, they say, oh, अब ये क्या करेगी? अब ये इसका क्या character है? क्या look लेकर आने वाली है? या इसमें क्या नयापन है? So that is a very big challenge.
Yeah. And all your looks I've noticed over the year, every time you come back with a new look.
I work hard on my looks.
You do.
I contribute a lot to my looks. And I'm so happy because the channel and the production house, they support me.
Right. So the looks is your idea or is a combined?
Well,
team
it's a
effort?
blending of, see,
Yeah.
nothing is a single idea on television or films. It's always a blend. It's a team. Like yesterday I said, it's a teamwork. So it's never one man's idea. We all pool in our brains just to make sure that we give the best result.
Right. No, I would say we are all very impressed with every time Sudha Chandran ji does a comeback or a new serial is coming, new release is coming, you come back with something different.
Yeah.
Sometimes your hair also matches your dress.
Yeah, I just did that in Bekabu because I just finished a serial on Colors. And then they said, Abhi kya kare? I said, let's do one thing. If I'm wearing a red sari, let's keep a red streak. If it's a blue sari, let's keep a blue streak. And the creator was like, are you sure, ma'am? I said, it will work. And then day before yesterday, I was in Bombay and I'd gone to purchase something and I suddenly saw those streaks hanging there. I said, bhaiya, ye kya? But aapne to shuru ki hai. I said, oh, and they're not bad.
You're definitely a
So
trendsetter.
things are
ma'am.
working, yes.
You're setting the trends for negative characters.
It's working,
at
that's more important.
Absolutely. Talk to us about the Nagin character, right?
Initially, when we started Nagin, I mean, if you see the first Nagin season 1, this character was very docile. First 30 episodes, she was that real good mother. And this was mentioned to me when I met Ekta. Because it was my comeback. I was not doing Hindi serials at that time. I was doing a lot of South. So for almost about 4 years, I was down South. So I saw the promo of Nagin. I mean, I didn't. My husband saw the promo of Nagin. And he said, and he's a very desi, very deep-rooted Indian desi, both of us. So he said, Sudha, Nagin aa raha hai yaar. Acha hoga. Because see, we have seen Reena Roy's Nagin, we have seen Sridevi's Nagin, and they were all blockbusters. So we said only Ekta could come up with something like this. And it was a teaser promo. Ki koi ek aurat chal rahi hai, Nagin, jaldi. So my husband said, Ekta is coming up with something really good this time. So I said, you think, Ravi, at this point of time, people will love Nagin? He says, this is a sure shot. And raat aayi, baat gayi, everything finished. Suddenly, out of the blue, I was in Chennai and there was a call. Ekta ma'am wants you to do Nagin. I said, huh? I said, main Nagin mein kya kar rahi hu? Please, when you come back, ma'am wants to see you. So I went with this narration. And she was like, 30 episodes, Sudhaji, you're doing nothing. I said, then why did you call me from Chennai? If I have to do nothing. She says, 30 episodes, 31st episodes onwards, only you will be doing it. So I said, but what am I doing?
Yeah.
She says, I don't want to tell you because I don't want you to be prepared for it.
Right.
Back of the mind, no actor should know. See, that is a briefing. So 30 episodes, she says, I want you to be the doting mother. And I played it to the T,
Yeah.
where Arjun was the apple of my eye. 31st episode is when she turns.
Yes.
And she turns as the fifth Katil who's out to kill her own son. And Yamini character at that time became so popular.
It did.
So popular. Because I remember when I used to go out, I said, oh, because, and that was the time when I just killed Arjun. That was a beautiful scene that we did in the mid-sea. So I said, मैं बाहर जाऊंगी, माएँ तो इतनी गालियाँ देंगी. But when I came out and people said, ma'am, क्या मारा था आपने अपने बेटे को? I said, ये घोर कलयुग है. If people have started loving this, then they said, it's not that, ma'am, because you do it with so much of conviction कि we love to hate you. ये इस औरत से हम नफरत करना चाहते हैं. And that finished, that season was a super hit. Then when season 2 came in, now my point was, now how do I replicate it? Because I didn't want anything to be replicated, because then on television what happens, it gets monotonous. So I said, एक काम करते, इसको comedy पे लेकर जाते. Then I got an element of comedy negative. If you see Yamini in the second season, she was over the top. She had the Nagmani stuck to her forehead and she was doing nonsense in Nagin too. But I remember I was performing in Delhi. I was doing my dance performance. And there was a security guard who walked up to me and said, he said, thank you, ma'am. I said, for what? He says, my mother is going through a lot of tensions in life. जितना भी हम उन्हें हंसाने की कोशिश करें, वो हंसती नहीं है. लेकिन जब आप स्क्रीन पे आती हो, आपकी बेवकूफ़ियाँ देखकर उनके चेहरे पर एक हल्की सी मुस्कान आती है. इसलिए I want to say a thank you to you. So I said, oh, क्या होता है? This is what an actor takes back. So that was, I think, Nagin 1, Nagin 2, then Nagin 3, then Nagin 6. Nagin 6, so I played 3 characters. I played Seema, then I played Patali, and then I played Patali's daughter. So मुझे तो समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा था मैं कर क्या रही थी. But people loved it, because that was the hook line where I said, Patali de tali. And people loved it. So wherever I go now, people say, Patali de tali. So I think, and I played an Adivasi in that. I played a woman with a black makeup, with a hunch. So it is a very different, very rustic character that I played. So I think that really worked for me.
Well, ma'am, you've truly been a trendsetter for us. And I would love to say that we love to hate you.
Thank you.
But so there are a lot of inspiring artists in the women out there who look up to you. What is your advice to anybody who's an inspiring actress who wants to go into the Bollywood industry, into the TV industry? What would you say?
See, what I have to say is that this is an industry that people have to take it seriously. See, it's not like that कि भैया टाइम पास नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ करने को नहीं है, चलो टेलीविजन में जाते हैं. It is not as simple as they presume, because television at times is a 24/7 job. We have targets to meet, we have telecasts, pressure. You need a brilliant memory, because at times we're doing a single shot, which is about 15 minutes without a cut. So कुछ लोगों से जब मैं मिलती हूँ, there are a lot of serious people who actually want to get into television and films. Beautiful, but focus. ये मत समझना कि ये तो टाइम पास है. You know, we're doing nothing at home. जब आप बन सकते हो तो हम क्यों नहीं बन सकते? It's not that. It's not as simple as that. Focus, be professional, take it 1-to-1 day basis, because people come with a lot of expectations. And when those expectations are not met, the disappointments begin. With disappointments comes those drastic steps that you take in life. So this is not the end of your world. आप आए, आपने कोशिश की, नहीं हुआ, ठीक है. You're not losing anything. And if you've actually worked hard, let me tell you, Mumbai is one industry that gives you the opportunities, and you can make your life.
So moving on to another question. On the sets, you just mentioned that there are 15 minutes of single shots that you're doing.
Yes.
And यहाँ पे तो हम reel करते हैं तो हमें 1 minute के reel में बहुत time लग जाता है. We take time. Sometimes you're doing 5 cuts, 10 cuts. What are your tips on getting through that?
See, that's what I'm saying. Television is a very committed industry. So it's not just me. Most of the actors, see, 15 minutes, if I'm talking a monologue, there are other actors also with me, जिनके एक line हो सकता है. और मैं 14 मिनट बोल रही हूँ. Now that actor is in tension कि कहीं मैं fumble ना करूँ. See, because 14.5 minutes of concentration, या 15 minutes of concentration, when you have a 3-camera setup, that shows the preparation of an actor. That shows how strong your memory has to be. And that also is important. And how do you prepare for it? very simple. Like as an actor, I get into the character. I'm never superficial. If you see my performances, it will definitely go deep into your heart. It will touch the last chord of your heart. Because I always feel that your eyes have to connect to the audience, because when you connect it through the camera, it goes deep into their heart. So 15 minute ho, 20 minute ho, farak wo nahi hai. It's how much you understand the character, and once you are in, you get the skin of the character, you're into it, lines just flows.
A lot of women in our community who want to follow their passion. They could be home bakers, they could be other entrepreneurs in different professions, but they struggle to come out of the house.
That's what I said, dream big.
They struggle to carve their own identity beyond their husbands and children. What advice would you give to those ladies?
See, all that I have to tell you, ladies, is that live for yourself. Find that space for yourself. Yes, we all have our responsibilities towards our family, but it's also important to discover there is something special in you because you're a woman. It's a very special element that you are born with. You have a passion, have the guts to bring it out, follow that passion, dream big, and work towards it. And when you work passionately, positively, and with determination.
On that note, we have a little hamper for you. This is called the Empower and Ambitious Hamper. Thank you. Balwinder from my team is helping us give the hamper.
Oh.
The speciality of this hamper is this is made by women from the community.
Lovely.
So everything that you see,
Okay.
The mugs, the oils, the candles come from, and it has been packaged by women from the community.
Oh, lovely.
So these are very small women entrepreneurs who are rising with IWD, working with IWD.
Great.
Thank you so much.
My honor and privilege to receive this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudha ji, for coming to this show. You've taught us that if you dream about something, nothing is impossible. We love to hate you, as I would love to say. But it's been brilliant talking to you.
Thank you, Reema.
You're an inspiration to every Indian woman in Dubai. More than 60,000 of us. I, as a representative of all of them, love you totally.
Thank you.
If you liked this show, please like, subscribe, and follow our channel. And we'll be back with another Women of Wonder very, very soon.